What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? There we go. We here to talk about this Panthers and this Cowboy game. I know, I know we thinking this should be easy money. And your thoughts will be correct. But sometimes what we think and what happens don't all the way align. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, by observing the Panthers, these couple games, I studied a couple games, more than once, and I'm here to give you my observations. Now, so I see the spread is 10.5. I'll just be honest with you. If the Dallas Cowboys don't play a clean game, if they take this team for granted, they're not going to cover that spread. If it's 10.5, it'll probably be 10. You know, if I can see it like this, if the Cowboys take this team for granted, then it's probably going to be close throughout and they pull away late. Because one thing I know about this Carolina team, they're going to compete, especially that defense. And we're going to get into that defense later, but we're going to touch on his offense right now. So, the Carolina Panthers offense, headed by rookie Bryce Young. Now, I know many may think, oh, C.J. Stroud may be better. I'm here to tell you like this. Look, even though C.J. Stroud having a better year, y'all know how we covered the draft. We had Bryce Young as number one. And Bryce Young is still one. And I'll be honest with you. Looking at this team, looking at that offense, I'm looking what Bryce Young is coming up with this offense. You got to give him props. It's that bad. Their offense is terrible from the head on down. And from what I'm seeing that the offensive coordinator gave up play call and then took it back. That's how bad that offense is. Now, I don't know if it was something with it that he made it just did it, and he was going to always have it, but he made it just did it to focus on something else. Who knows? I don't know. But one thing I do know is that his offense sucks. We're going to just be candid. His offense sucks. So let's get into these key players. Key players is Hayden Hurst, Adam Thielen, and I guess you could say the running backs, Chuba Hubbard or Miles Sanders. That's going to be the key players, especially with this offense. Now, I know they got the rookie, was it from Ole Miss? Can't think of his name right now. Did I write it down? Can't think of his name. It'll come to me. But I know they got the rookie. So if they're going to get any type of explosive play, it's going to be from the rookie from Ole Miss, the wide receiver. But the key matchups will be Gilmore and Thielen. Curse on the tight ends, whether it be Trimble or Hayden Hurst or any other of the safeties, right? Hopefully Wanye is in the picture of this game. Hopefully we build off of that Wanye siding. And we got to keep Bryce Young in that pocket. See, one thing's for sure, I think what Bryce Young is realizing from what I've seen him early on until now is that, look, these wide receivers ain't going to get open. And one thing about the wide receivers is they get no separation. They are no help to the offense in general. So you can't always put it on play caller because they have no playmakers whatsoever, and they have a young playmaker that ain't ready yet. So he can't really give them nothing. But soon he may be able to give them some, but now he ain't giving them anything. Adam Thielen, he's old route runner, but definitely lost a couple steps, and he didn't have too many steps when he was on point. But he ain't running away from nobody. Strawhan, can't pronounce his name, but it's spelled Strahan. He gave him a chunk play. What game was I watching where he gave him like a 40, 50-yard game towards the sideline? He gave him a chunk play, but it ain't going to be but it ain't gonna be consistent. DJ Chart, he's a complimentary wide receiver, but with that trash offense, they need him to be more, and he's just not capable of being more because he's a complimentary wide receiver. They have a whole bunch of third option at best wide receivers being instilled into the number one and number two slots. They may produce on other teams in better situations, but because they're the main guys in this situation, that's why they're not producing. One thing that the Carolina Panthers are going to have to do, but want to do and haven't done, is establish the run. That's one thing that the Carolina Panthers are going to have to do is establish the run. With Miles Sanders, who we're familiar with Philadelphia, and Chuba Hubbard, who has always been a complimentary back. So in order for the Panthers to have any type of chance to hopefully be in the game, they're going to have a 1-2 punch with that and run the ball. They're going to have to probably run the ball damn near 30 times. They're going to have to really be physical. And with this offensive line, that's hard for them to do as well because that offensive line is trash too. One thing I noticed, what's his name? The tackle. Can't pronounce his name. But it's what many thought that he was a tackle. Let me get these names right, man. Let me get these names right real quick so y'all can know, so y'all can pay attention. Because we, in our evaluations, right, those who were with me when we evaluated the draft, we had him as a guard instead of a tackle. And you can see the Carolina Panthers are making a mistake with him. Just because he played tackle in college doesn't mean that he could play tackle in the pros, and he's suffering greatly from that. He will be a whole better guard. And I'm talking about Ikonwonu. I can't pronounce his name. But I'll know it if I hear it. He's a guard and he's playing tackle. So one thing you can see with him is you can get the edge on him in the passing game. Taylor Moton is probably their best lineman. But that center and that right guard is cooked food. That center I seen get mollywopped. He got dragged. He getting pushed in the pocket. I've seen him get pushed in the pocket a few times. And that right guard, you could say he close to being horrible. But the left tackle will thrive, will do better in the running game, but the passing game, you can get the edge on him because that's not where he's supposed to be. And if the Panthers put him where he's supposed to be and go get a tackle, then they'll be in a better predicament. Right? It's just, look, some people can adjust and be tackles, but some people just, it's just like with Lyle Collins. Yeah, he had some good seasons at tackle, at right tackle, but if you're going to get the most out of that player, you got to put him at guard. Just like with Zach Martin. Yeah, he could play tackle, but if you're going to get the most out of Zach Martin, you got to put him at guard. And he's had a Hall of Fame career. And Lyle Collins would have had a Hall of Fame career if they would have kept him at guard. But that's another thing, though. But yeah, the Carolina Panthers, all in all, are going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball. They have no deep passing game whatsoever. So it's essential that Gilmore and I suck with names right now. Our other corner. God damn. Hey, it's been a long day. But our other corner. It's essential for them to not fall asleep. It's essential for Lou to not fall asleep. To not miss that play, because that could be that play that'll get that offense going. And if that offense get going with the way that their defensive play, like I said, it'll be a long game. And we don't want it to be a long game. We would like it, especially going into Carolina already. It's in the morning, right? It's an earlier game. We got to travel. So yeah, I think your best bet is to be in and out. You want to be in and out, because going to Carolina, things can get a little funky, and we don't want it to get a little funky. It's already good. Like that field. They got that grass field too. It's just something about playing in Carolina that can bring tricky situations, right? And it don't have nothing to do. It's just the environment that just bring a certain type of tricky situations that you want to avoid. So we don't want to give this offense no type of hope. You don't want to give this offense no type of big play. And the past few games that I've been watching, I'll probably go back and watch the Colts because I skipped over a couple. I'll probably watch the Colts, but you don't. This offense doesn't get the big play. I think I was listening to once. I was listening to the broadcast version of one of them, and they was talking about this is the first play over 20 yards that they had all season. Like they don't get chunk plays. It's short this, short that. 3-yard passing game, 5-yard passing game. It's so short. And incomplete this, incomplete that. That's why you'll see him have a game for probably like 100 yards or less in the passing game because their passing game is that terrible. It's horrific. It's very horrific. And if you give this team any type of life, you messed up and you suck. Straight up. Because Thielen and them ain't running from nobody. And you should be able, like, he ain't even looking, like, especially with that offensive line that they got, they're not even looking to hold the ball. Because you can see that, yeah, they talk about Bryce Young and his progressions is kind of slower, but you expect that though. But it's really like now he's looking to get in and out because he know he don't even trust the protection. You can see he don't trust the protection, and that, man, probably after maybe about a read or two, he gone. Right? So you've been seeing lately that he trying to take off. And we don't want that because he can hurt you with your legs. And we have shown an undisciplined nature against running quarterbacks, especially this year at times. Times where, you want to be on point and keep them in the pocket. If somebody gets a little selfish and want to take an inside release and give up outside contain, somebody don't want to push their pocket. Somebody want to leave little holes. You want to go ahead and condense that holes and keep Bryce Young in that pocket. But we need to get there. All your pass rushers, let's be honest, should eat, especially anybody that's on the left side of a defense and on the right side of that offense. They should eat. That they really should eat the whole line. Because even though Moulton is probably their best offensive lineman, he still cook food. That's all I'm saying, y'all. That is all I'm saying. So, but one thing that is that they're gonna have to keep extra, and they're gonna have to get the ball off quicker. But I'm pretty sure that they knew that they had to do that even if they wasn't playing this. And two, they're gonna have to keep some tight ends. So I expect a lot of 12. I expect to see a lot of Trimble and Hayden Hurst and keeping them boys inside and running routes tight because they already don't have no explosion. So there's no reason to go ahead and come out and because I know because one thing I seen it was against the Bears, they were trying to do more and spreading it out and to try to help with the passing game to maybe it could help with their run game, but it was so horrific and their line is so horrific that they couldn't do that. So no matter it's like it ain't like the offensive coordinator ain't trying, they just suck. They just suck. But he tries though. One thing though that I can note that I should note is that their punt returner, he made some plays. So Fossil need to be on his game. Bones need to be on his game because he took one to the crib. And in another game, he had a big kickoff return. And that's the games that I watch. He had some type of explosive play in the return game. So it's a must that the Dallas Cowboys keep an eye on him because we don't want him to get loose. And the one thing that we can hang our hat on is special teams. Our special teams under Bones have been very good. So let's continue that trend. And we can't afford to have one phase of the game let us down in this game, right? Even though the talent gap is so wide, you still don't want to take this team for granted. You still don't want to take this team for granted. But yeah, man. Other than that, like that's it. It's short passing game. man, no chunk plays. They can't run the ball. You know, they're dealing with a rookie quarterback. It's just everything that can go wrong in the offense is going wrong for the Carolina Panthers. But that's just what it is, right? With the offense. Let's get on this defense. Now the defense is what keeps that score close. Their defense is actually playing pretty well for the amount of guys that they're missing, such as Shaq Thompson. They're missing a corner in Horn. I think they had another body. I know Brian Burns been banged up, but one addition though that they got with some familiar faces is Deion Jones. Deion Jones is still flying all over the place. He's still making plays, right? How he not had a job, I don't know, right? Because because from what I've seen, he's playing good. But to get you the key players though, you like I said, Deion, Burns. I don't know if he's playing because I've seen he was on the report, so I don't know if Brian Burns gonna play. But if he do, he's somebody that you got to worry about, especially him probably being on Terrence Steele. I wouldn't wash him out and put him on Tyron because Tyron would probably dog walk him. But I'll put him on Terrence Steele's side if I was them, and none other than Derrick Brown. Now y'all know me, I speak highly of Derrick Brown. Derrick Brown is a beast, and Derrick Brown is a underrated D tackle. He's playing in the 34 scheme, so he doesn't get some of the opportunities as some of these other people getting in their 43 scheme, or they don't know how to use him. Let's just be real. They don't know how to use him. Derrick Brown is a beast. And Derrick Brown, look, I rock with Quentin Williams, but look, Quentin ain't better than Derrick Brown. I'll just be honest with you. He's not better than Derrick Brown. See, there's no way. See, Quentin, like I said, Quentin a beast from the Jets, but there's no way that Edoga should be clamping you, though. There's no way that Edoga should be clamping you. All the greats go through double teams. It's how they respond. And Derrick Brown goes through the same thing. There's a whole lot of attention on Derrick Brown. I did a film session on my other page, Truth Don't Hurt, in regards to some of the things on Derrick Brown. Look, it's a beast. He gonna be up there. He gonna be on the look. He's gonna line up a lot on Biotish because Biotish has shown that hey, Biotish could go ahead and he could be on his toes and get drove back at times, even though he is playing well for us. But he could be drove back at times, right? So he's gonna try to be on the weak links of your offense, and we've seen that. Hey, Zach Martin has been losing reps that you would normally see. So I wouldn't be surprised because he's normally going to be on Zach Martin's side anyway. Look, one thing for sure, he's somebody that you need to watch and know at where he's at all times. You're not gonna put him on his ass. You're not gonna drive him back. Let's just be honest. One thing about that defense as a whole is that inside, I don't see nobody running on them. Like it's tough running inside, right? Now I did see that some teams had some success going on the end of rounds, right? Trying to attack their perimeter. They'll probably be able to have a little bit of success regarding that, especially if you're able to get a body on Deion Jones. So perimeter running will probably be a plus. But one thing's for sure, it's tough running inside. See, one thing about Derrick Brown, though, that separates him from other D tackles is his range in the running game, right? So he'll line up at 3 tech, right? And he'll work all the way down. He hustles. He'll work all the way down to the opposite side and get in and make the tackle. He shed his shed, the way he sheds block is ridiculous. Like, if he was on a better team, you will probably be talking about Derrick Brown like you talk about these other tackles such as Chris Jones, Quinnen, Aaron Donald, right? Simmons. He's in that category. I promise you he is. And y'all gonna find out on Sunday. Y'all gonna find out on Sunday. Homeboy beast. And homeboy got his work cut out. He's supposed to be going against 2 future Hall of Famers in the inside. And hey, him against Tyler Smith, that's a matchup that I'm going to love to see. That's going to be a matchup right there. Hey, he gonna give you a right. Hey, look, because one thing for sure, he shoots his hand and he gets in your chest. He's good. He's good with his hands, and he shares blocks. He's very good at that, right? And he has a burst to the quarterback, right? So be careful of Derek Brown. Now, I haven't seen nobody talk about him much. I don't see people talk about him at all, to be honest with you, right? Now, the coaches know, the Carolina fans know, but he's not really familiar to everybody, to the public. Keep an eye out on 9-5. Keep an eye out on him because he could wreck your game. And we already not getting no push in a run game. And one thing's for sure, if he keeps Deion Jones clean, it's probably going to be some more tough running in the run game. So one thing's for sure, no matter what that defense has on that field, they play hard and they keep them in games. So their defense ain't no scrubs, right? Now now I know they got CJ Henderson and Dante Jackson at corner. Now if you can isolate them, that's cooked food, right? But one thing I've seen that Panthers D coordinator does is he does a good job protecting them. He does. Now I know they didn't win against some bum teams, but one thing for sure that I've seen that's consistent is that he does a good job in protecting them, right? Because if he don't, they're gonna get beat, right? So one thing I see is, hey, they having that shell over. They don't want nothing deep. They want you to work it underneath, and they're gonna come and tackle. They say, hey, Derek Jones and Brian. Derek Brown, Brian Burns, and what you call that other nose tackle? He's playing solid too. I can't think of his name though. But hey, y'all handle that front. Y'all keep Deion and them clean and allow Deion to clean everything up. And Deion still got his speed to clean things up. We should have had Deion done, but I ain't gonna get in that. I ain't gonna talk about that. But we should have had Deion Jones. But yeah, this is a game, even though they got this is a game where you want Rashaan Evans in to make sure that running game don't get going. They don't have no threats on the passing game. This is where a game where I want a heavy dose of Evans, a heavy dose, because we cannot afford to get that running game cracking. But to get back on our defense, yeah, they're not giving, like I said, they're not giving up anything deep. So they're going to come up and keep it everything. So they're going to force you to be perfect. They're going to force you to be able to, hey, they want you to make 10-play drives. If they say, hey, if you drove it down on them 7 to 10 plays or 7+ plays, hey, it is what it is, right? They don't want you to beat them up top, from what I've seen. And Dak Prescott is going to have to be patient. He's going to have to be patient. Because I know they may look at the Carolina Panthers like, man, we should be dog walking them. Look what we did to Philadelphia. See, it's different, though. It's different. And they can't. Now, I'm not saying to be scared. I'm not saying to not be confident. Because if you're able to isolate your best, which Mike McCarthy and company should, then you should have a nice game against them. But understand the circumstances. One, we're not in Dallas, right? 2, it's an earlier game. 3, they on a momentum. 4, they've been getting their ass whooped. 5, they playing the Dallas Cowboys. All of these factors need to be taken into consideration. Because we cannot let a team like this get with us and still win. You know how shameful that'll be to let a team like the Carolina Panthers whoop on us? That'll be shameful to be out physical by the Carolina. Shameful. But it's the NFL. Anything can happen. So let's make sure that what we want to happen happens, which is to get in and get out. Like I said, do I expect for them to beat on them like we did with the Giants? No, I don't. right? Because they're still playing hard. They just don't have the talent to compete, but they're still playing hard. You see, the New York Giants quit, right? They had that loser mentality, right? The way that they want to play, they don't have the personnel to play that because they dealing with injuries and they chose not to build upon what they have done to get to the playoffs. They instead of indulging in the way that they wanted to play, which would be physical, run the ball through Saquon and yada yada yada, they chose to be content, and now they're paying the consequence. Carolina Panthers, they must have thought that Bryce Young was Superman. To give him Thielen, if Thielen is your best wide receiver, well, you just don't want him to have success, do you? You must have didn't want to have Bryce Young on your team for you to give him weapons like that and think he's supposed to stride. Because I promise you that from what I'm seeing from Bryce Young, if you give him CJ Stroud weapons, he would do a whole lot better, and he'll probably do what CJ Stroud is doing. Not taking anything away from CJ Stroud because he's playing good ball, but he will still have good success if you put Bryce Young in another team. So his progression, this is like a wash year because he has nothing around him. So it's just like hopefully it doesn't break his confidence as a quarterback, but that's just the reality that he doesn't have nothing around him. Absolutely nothing. But all in all, y'all, that's just pretty much how that the Carolina Panthers is going to approach us. Right? I looked at the injury report. There's a couple of people that was questionable, so we'll probably check in towards Saturday, see how everything look and see if some of their players want. Because if Brian Burns plays, that's he has the talent to wreck a game. Derrick Brown has a talent to wreck a game. And one thing, it's kind of like the Chiefs, right? They don't come in waves, but the Chiefs had Frank Clark. The Chiefs had Chris Jones. And the makeup of how them boys can go ahead and impact the game, they have that type of ability to do that. At least this is 1 week. So I'm just telling y'all to not take this team for granted. That's all I'm saying. Do not take this team for granted. Don't do it. That's all. Just don't do it. Because it's gonna bite us if we do. We want to continue to build off on the success that we've been having as far as on this offense and the defense. Look, it's another easy test in front of you. We're gonna be candid. It's another easy test in front of you. It's another test that you should pass. And if you're giving up 21 points to this team, then we're going to have another conversation that you ain't going to like on Sunday after the game. So we're going to see. We're gonna see what Cowboys team that we get. Hopefully it be the consistent Cowboys that you've been getting the past month, right? Even with the Philly loss, hopefully you've been getting the same Cowboys at least that you get this month. And that's the same type of Cowboys that can get this game and not let a team that's horrific like this beat you. But anywho, man, that's my time for today. Appreciate y'all. If y'all catching it on the playback, hit that like button for me. And we gone, y'all.